Hey guys, welcome back to the video. In this video, Brantley and I are going to be giving you guys our review for... So over the last few days, Brantley and I watched all 3 seasons of Barry for the first time. So in this video, gives all of our spoiler-filled thoughts. So we're going to be going through season by season, as well as giving our predictions for season 4 at the end of this video. But if you want to skip to us talking about a specific thing, look at timestamps in the description down below. But without wasting more time, let's get into it, talking about season 1. So we're going to start off by talking about our favorite episodes for every single season. This season, mine is episode 7. What was yours, Brantley?
Also, episode 7.
Dude,
that's like the show. Like for me, like the season, I was like, okay, this is kind of. I see the hype now. I start to really see it. Like
I will say that's kind of my problem with the whole series, like that whole season though, is like it didn't like really click for me until that episode, and that's like an episode before the finale. I mean, I thought the finale was good too, but like episode 7 was easily the darkest one of that season as well, with like the flashbacks of him killing the guy and stuff like that. I thought it was a very dark episode compared to the rest of them, but the story as a whole in the season, I will say I liked all like the Chechen stuff. It's the most prominent in this season than it is in any of the other ones because like that big bald dude, but like it's all cool. It's just like a basic detective story though, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was season 1. I said I didn't really like start to really I enjoyed all the way through, but I really didn't start to enjoy about the second half, like episodes like 6 through 8. I would say that's when it really kind of picked up like for me. But I thought it was a really solid season. They kind of definitely set up a good stage for season 2.
I mean, my favorite part of like the whole balancing in this season was that there was the most of the acting class that we ever got. Because even though in season 2 they had the plot point about them going through their past traumas and stuff, this one felt like the most like emotionally connected. And honestly, it felt like the most scary when Barry was at the acting class because he killed the kid from the acting class. And so that's why, like, that's where, like, the tension was highest. Because even in season 2, like, the acting class felt like more of an output for Barry. Like, it felt like where he could express his emotions. But, like, season 1, we didn't really get that as much of this character. But I guess that also leads us to have, like, I guess, like, more connections to Barry. Because, let's be honest, bro, in season 4, if they wanted to bring back any character from the acting class, they could. Because they were all, like, fleshed out just enough in season 1 and 2. Even though in 3 they weren't as prominent. But, like, what did you think of them, like, fleshing out connections and still bringing them back? Because like I don't know, I thought it was the messiest in this season, like in terms of connections and bringing back to Barry, but it was also really well fleshed out.
Season 1, I think that it set them up very nicely, and even though we got less of them as like the show kind of went on, I think they still set up enough like a foundation to where like they could be brought back in a sense. So you still have some sense of maybe possible like care for the his co-stars and stuff. So
yeah, and also Gene in this season, I definitely think obviously like he's at his worst this season in terms of like a character standpoint, but like the way that they build him up this season as being someone that like saves Barry is so good. I don't know, he didn't really click for me, but what do you think of like random side characters like NoHo Hank, Detective Moss, all that kind of stuff?
And Hank, bro, I knew he was gonna be my favorite character when I first like saw him in the show, bro. Like, he's the most entertaining character in the show. I said it's throughout the whole thing, like through all 3 seasons, like he is the funniest person in the show. Like he just brings so much energy and just he's different from basically like anyone else in the show.
Yeah,
like, the complete just contrast to everything else that like, we have in the show. And yeah, so Hank, he was awesome. Goran, his boss, or whatever. I thought they were pretty cool. Like that whole season 1, like it's crazy like how the show starts off kind of various like pretty like not super lighthearted, still dark moments, but like pretty like upbeat. Like it's like fun like kind of show. And like you get to season 3 and it's like completely different.
Yeah.
And, like,
and
so
even the thing is like
crazy.
The gradual like change isn't just for Barry is what I noticed. Like last night while I was writing all of our notes and stuff like that for this video, I was trying to go through every character's arc. And when I got to NoHo Hank, I was like, oh, he's like the funny guy of the series. Bro, towards the end of the season, like season 3, he has to kill for the first time. Like the main reason he's a leader is so he doesn't have to kill. But he ends up killing Cristobal's girlfriend and the guy that like the stripper dude. Like he did not want to kill, and he looks so sad at the end. Like it's crazy how big of an arc they had.
Yeah, I would agree. Like to me, the show definitely like it felt very like calculated, like how everything was executed. Like I don't know, obviously their like development process, but like I would not be surprised like if there was like a rough outline for like seasons like 1 through 3. Like because it felt so just like well calculated.
It felt
like,
so cohesive.
How everything like built up even from like season 1 all the way up until season 3. I just felt everything was just building on top of each other like in a very natural way.
Yeah, and I definitely think that's why season two just elevates everything season one did to another level. But final thoughts on season one, I did want to say it just felt like nothing was like hitting me emotionally. It felt like I was just watching all the stories, and so that's why it's my least favorite season.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, definitely the other seasons have like better like emotional moments as we go through. I would say one thing I wish we did get a bit more. I wish they kind of did build up a bit more of like Janice's and Jean's like relationship. I mean, we did get
Yeah,
a few scenes, but like I don't know, I still didn't reflect that much like care for her and like their relationship and whatnot. Like when she dies and stuff. That time jump, like at first when it happened, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but like after a while, I did like it made sense and like it worked. But yeah, I think the time jump at first for me was a little odd when it first happened. But yeah, I thought it was
I
solid.
didn't mind it, but my only problem was like again, like you said, I didn't feel connected to Janice and Jean's relationship. But I will say, Jean, the guy who plays Jean, like his acting really sold me. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
necessarily like the character itself; it was more the acting, and that's why I said like Jean isn't necessarily my favorite character in terms of writing, like in the first season, but his acting is like above all else. Like he's up there with Bill Hader for the first season at least. But yeah, moving on to season two. In my opinion, season two did everything season one did, but just better. My favorite episode of this season, and I think it's the same thing for Brantley, is episode five. What did you think of this episode, dude?
that episode was brilliant, bro. Like I didn't even like I didn't hear anything about episode 5 before watching the show. Nothing like that. I had no idea what to expect. And the way it starts off as like that little fight scene, and from there it just gets crazier and crazier. Like the episode was insane. Like it's I mean, still one of my favorite episodes in the entire show. Like by the end of it, so it was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a huge step up from season one in general. Like even like just the smaller action moments. And this is where I like episode five. Well, I liked episode four a lot as well, but episode five where I was like, okay, this like if they can even one up this in season three, that's crazy. Like there's no way they can do it. And they ended up doing it in season three with the motorcycle chase, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But fighting wise, I ended up watching that breakdown that you told me about. I'll link that in the description down below as well, guys.
Yeah, it
But
was crazy.
it's so crazy how everything came together for that Taekwondo fight, and I just really love the story overall this season. It's definitely more of like a personal grief story than season one was. I mean, this whole season is just darker, it's funnier, and it's just crazier. I definitely will say though, my biggest issue with season two, and I know this is Sally's whole point, right? The whole point of Sally in this show is to be like a parasite to Barry and just be like another problem in his life, and that he doesn't want to let go of stuff like that. But in terms of writing, she was definitely like something that took away from the story for me personally.
I don't know. Sally for me, like in the show, she's an interesting character because like I feel like show puts in a position where like season one, she's kind of like, oh, like the bright spot in like Barry's life and whatnot. But even season one, like she still does some stuff that's like kind of like scummy. Like she's not like a good person. Like she's a heavy
No,
like
yeah.
narcissist. Like she's like, yeah. So this is really interesting. Like I feel like in the show kind of builds upon that like seasons 2 and 3. And it's like she's like really like not like that like good of a person, but like yeah, like Barry still like loves her and whatnot. So I thought that was an interesting like dynamic because usually like you see like I feel like a lot of shows and stuff. You see like the love interest is like oh well, there's like it's like angelic, like they're like the bright light, and they're
Yeah,
like so
yeah.
good. But her, she's like not really a good person, but like to Barry, he still has these feelings for her and whatnot. So I thought that was really interesting and kind of unique.
I think story wise though, my problem with her is that like anytime she's on screen, her story is so separated from Barry. Like other than the one part where he's like takes her to the audition thing and he give and the guy like the manager is like, oh, I got you an audition and stuff like that, and she gets jealous. Like that's great development. But in terms of just her being in meetings with these people, it's like that wasn't necessarily entertaining for me. Like that's where I would say is like the biggest downside of the season is the way they utilize Sally. But I will say NoHo Hank makes up for it 100%. Like he is
Oh.
so good in this season. I absolutely love him.
I thought he was good. They built upon it well because, like, from this is when you start seeing him become less like comedic relief and actually like serious. Like that scene, he's
Yeah.
like, "I helped you" and whatnot. I thought it was really interesting too because Noah Hank season 1, he did essentially save Barry in that season,
Yeah.
and it's like, and Barry, yeah. So it's like, yeah, that was really interesting to me how they kind of build upon that. But yeah, like seeing him actually like have these more serious moments, I think that was very good development. And it still felt natural. You still had like the comedic moments as well, but like him being more serious, I thought that worked really well.
Yeah, honestly, I think like NoHo Hank is one of the characters in this show. Is like anytime he's in the show, he elevates like everyone else, and I think that's why I like him so much. Where it's like, where like on the other hand, it's like Sally, right? Like even in season three with her premiere and stuff like that, it's like even when she's at the premiere, it doesn't build upon our main character, Barry. Like, the whole point of this show, in my opinion, is every action that a side character takes needs to lead to something that happens to Barry. The Barry and Sally breakup didn't do anything for me. I did not care. I don't care that she's going back to, like, Missouri. Like, that doesn't matter to me personally.
Yeah.
I mean, it might, does it, I mean, do you care about that story? Because I personally just don't.
I mean, I will say season 3, that storyline with like her breaking up, I just found it to be a very like odd. Like, even like logically, it is like, it makes like no sense to me. Like, this, what, like 13-year-old girl told you that your boyfriend was like violent when he didn't, like,
Yeah.
and then like you just break up with him, like, all like, like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I don't really understand the point of that. So I will agree that subplot in season 3 was kind of just very awkward and just odd. And even the scene, I still understand the scene like with like Barry. He's like talking to her on the couch. He's like, "Oh, I can like go to this person's house for you." Da 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 da. That just felt very like random. I'm so confused by it.
Yeah.
You know, like, it makes that made. No
And then
sense.
by the end, bro, and by the, I mean, okay, we'll talk about this more in depth later. But like, and by the end, she literally wanted to go to Natalie's house and try to get her.
Yeah.
Like,
That was
it's
season
kind of
3, my
stupid.
bad. I got my scenes confused, but yeah.
No, but you're good. But it's
Yeah.
character. That's why, honestly, again, that's why I like the show so much, is because it takes like these smaller things from seasons prior, and it always builds upon it. Like, I will say, again, my problem is that it doesn't reach back to Barry directly, but it's still great development overall. You know, it's not bad, but
No,
I mean, I will.
I'm looking for. That was season 3, bro. But no, season 2, like, I agree. It was still like plans. They're a whole like dynamic. I think it was good in season 2, but I feel like that throughout the whole show, just kind of that whole Barry side like relationship definitely was a little like odd at some point.
But now I want to talk about Fuchs, bro. He's just he is like a major key catalyst. Like, he just like does everything. And so obviously, like, the Loach stuff where he goes undercover and he tries to catch Barry, stuff like that. Bro, when Barry gets caught, but Loach is like, "I just want you to kill my ex-wife's husband," like, that is insane. Like, that was like one of the biggest twists.
Yeah, that was a crazy twist. I would say I didn't see that coming. I was like, it's over for him. Like, he got caught. Like, it's done. There's no.
I'm like, dude, there's still 4 episodes left. I'm like, what are we doing from here? But nah, they pulled it off. But Fuchs told Gene everything, like the thing at the end of the season. That was insane, and just the way that they lead it into season 3 is phenomenal. Like, and bro, Barry and Gene get arrested at the end of the season, and then bro, Barry absolutely wrecks that hideout, the Chechen hideout. That was one of the best scenes of the entire scene.
That was insane.
Oh my god!
I'll
That's
say
like
one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing throughout the show, like, that we talk about like Barry and Side, but really, I love it, like, the relationship between Barry and Fuchs, like that, like, dynamic is so good, like, because essentially it all is like a toxic like relationship. It's like you have this person trying to pull you back in to whatever, and you trying to like escape, and it's like that was just very good. How like in some way, like almost throughout the whole show, Fuchs always found a way to like pull Barry back a little bit, or Barry was sometimes wanting to go back a little bit, and it's just like it was a really like that was a real like toxic relationship that they had.
Well, it was also on both ends. It wasn't just like when Barry tried to leave Fuchs would do something, but whenever Fuchs tried to leave Barry would also do something back. That's one relationship where it's like, even if Fuchs is doing something that's like, for example, I mean, we'll get into time about season 3 later, but like going to the families of people he killed, right? Like, that is something that on its own isn't something huge, but like when you start finding the smaller connections to Barry, where like that kid wants to go kill Barry, I'm like, dude, he might actually shoot Barry. Like, that's where you build tension in the show, and I really like that. I mean, final thoughts on season 2. It's a great season overall. It's much better than season 1, in my opinion. Some of the best action in the entire show, and honestly, most of the plots, like, I would say like 90% of the plots in this season had me engaged.
I agree. I mean, that's what I told you. It's like, I do think that season 3 is by far like the best written season in terms of like my overall enjoyment of watching the show. I probably did enjoy season 2 like the most in terms of like consistent, like this was just like I was probably most consistently entertained by season 2. But yeah, season 3, I mean, it was insanity. But yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, now to talk about season 3, dude. Bro, this show is absolutely insane. Like, I wasn't expecting this season to be this good, because seasons 1 and 2, season 1 is good, season 2 is great. But this season 3 is generational television, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite seasons of TV ever. The reason why I think the seasons consistently get better is because they consistently take every aspect of the first 2 seasons and they just make it times 1,000. like the dark and the comedy of season 2, they just multiply by a million and it gives you season 3. So favorite episodes for me personally, it has to be the finale, the plot twist, the emotion, how dark it gets, but also, I mean, no, honestly, season 8, I mean, episode 8's not even funny, dude. Like, it is just depressing. But it's so good in contrast to the rest of the show that it sticks out. It's probably my favorite episode of the entire show. Brent, what was your favorite episode?
My favorite episode 6. That's the motorcycle chase scene. But also, top of that, that's episode after Chase, he goes to the dinner and he meets with his friend's wife, and then like that was crazy. I didn't even think about like that. Like I was like, oh, that is mad. That was another like great twist at the end. So yeah, episode 6. But episode 8 is probably my second favorite of the season. Like that was really the episode. By far, probably the best finale I want to say of the show by far. So,
yeah, definitely compared to the rest of the finales, it's the best. Also, I love, dude. I don't know if this was. I'm pretty sure it was just in the finale, but correct me if I'm wrong. The part where he goes to the beach and he sees all the people that he killed. That's only in the finale, right?
I think it might be in the episode before too, but I think the finale. No, it is the. No, because episode 6. That's when he's like, she poisons him or whatever, and then he
so 7. It's in 7 and in 8. Okay.
7, 8.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it is phenomenal. Like that whole concept and seeing Sally and Jean there, like be like, oh, like if I kill you, they end up here. Like that is so good. In my opinion, I literally have this written in my notes, guys. Peak storytelling. Like the last from 6, 7, and 8. That storytelling is phenomenal in my opinion. But story-wise, like I said before, every single thing that the seasons before did that they did right, they just turned it up to 1,000 here. We pick up in the beginning of the season with Barry trying to figure out what to do with Jean. This is easily the best story of the entire show in my opinion. It's the best consistent storyline just because it's been used from season 1. It's been used of Jean is the person that saved Barry. And that entire arc, and also like the actor who plays Jean's really good, and just Jean wanting to leave LA and then him ending up staying because Barry just gives him money to like kind of make up for it, and then Jean betrays him at the end, bro.
I mean, I think the whole thing it was a crazy situation because like Barry, like I mean, Jean like does care for Barry. I mean, Barry like he did kill like the love of his life, so it's like at the same time, even though like he kind of did whatever he could to like try to like forgive him or whatever, Barry tried to make up for it. It's like still like, I can understand what Gene's doing. Like you still killed like the person I love the most. So it's like at the same time, it's like you can't really ever like make up for that or compensate for that. And it's like even with Barry early in the season, like he's like so like in and out, like well, I can like fix whatever I did. I can like fix everything. I think that's just the great thing of the whole show. It's like this like he's like in denial that he's like this bad person, but also the show also talks about like what is like a bad person.
Well, who is a bad person? Like if you kill someone, are you really a bad person? Like it just all depends on like what the situation is, and that's kind of what they try to tell us the whole season. So I'm excited to see where they go with in season 4 with that whole idea now that he's in prison and stuff. But I do want to talk just a little bit more about like the concepts of this season, because I think that's where this season is separated from the rest, where it's like this, like Barry definitely gets darker. Like this whole season is so dark. Like, bro, the visuals of people he loves getting shot in the head, that is so scary.
That was crazy.
Dude, that was insane. It's like, and again, it's like also the part, like not only that, but also us seeing people that Barry killed in the past, like those flashbacks, and then what's his name? Not Loach. Fuchs going to the people that he loved and like telling them, giving him that card. Like it is just the way everything comes together is so good. But I do want to say Sally's story is at her peak this season though. Like I definitely think like
I agree. They really wrote like her subplot was very well with her being like now she's like super famous and whatever, and, like her first show and whatnot. I think it was because also you got commentary like on like the actual like entertainment industry at the same time too. Like there was like, a lot of stuff about that, so I thought that was really cool.
I love like her first time killing. We mentioned this a little bit before, but dude, that scene is crazy to me because it's like, and it's insane because it's like that one scene that had to do with Sally's development led to literally the entire end of the episode. Oh, we have to talk about NoHo Hank, bro. Just dude, Cristobal, like the way they play his whole story out. I will say though, his story is the most separate from Barry than it is in any of the other seasons. He is the most separate because like, all they had together was like the bombing stuff. But the thing is, I liked NoHo Hank better this season now that he's more separate from Barry. Whereas, like, if they did it with Sally, it wouldn't really work, in my opinion. But what'd you think of NoHo Hank here?
No, I agree. Like, the way they kind of tie both the storylines, that's kind of what I like. It's like, the show, after a certain point, I say starting like season 2 and like it goes in season 3. It's like characters have like their own subplots, and like they kind of just like they might kind of just cross over briefly and they'll keep going, and then like it'll kind of like naturally kind of overlap, but like they're not always like intertwined the whole time. That's kind of what I like. He's like, I'm gonna call Barry, it's not Barry's interline, like kind of intertwined with Chris, Hank, and then like they kind of like separate again, and now like, but yeah, that subplot was really good. The whole like the Bolivian family coming back in, and like that was so well done. So yeah, it was really good.
I think the way like you said, I like the way that they like merge all our storylines together. It's not like they're like forcing like Barry to just like be. It's not like a coincidence type of thing, which is one of my problems with the show, which I'll get into my final score and stuff like that. But I will say like, it definitely felt like at times they did like cheap plays. I think in my opinion, the switch between season 2 and 3, because the way that they had to like make Gene like forget and like remember stuff, the Chechen pin, all that kind of stuff, that felt a little bit more forced in terms of a transition than all the other story plots. But what do you think of like the the actions of like the story, like how the story like moved on?
Okay, I would say one moment in the show in season 3, I did think, I was like, okay, that's kind of like it's kind of dumb. That was kind of dumb. Was when the mom and the kid were in the car, and he like shoots the kid.
He accidentally shoots himself.
Yeah, that was
so dumb.
Yeah, that was very dumb. I was like, I thought that could have been a really good moment with him like confronting Barry or whatnot, or something involving them, because like that was like one of the first like people we like heard like Barry like
killed.
I mean, that was like the first kill of like that we see in the show. So it's like I thought that could have been kind of a better moment there instead of like that happening. Like, and I thought maybe they're gonna come back later, and they just never come back at all. Like anything, I was like. Yeah, that was very awkward. But it was like that whole scene.
And honestly, that was just weird because there was like a whole transition between like Barry was leaving a house and like he was just standing in the middle of the street. I was like, it would be perfect. Like, bro, he's holding a gun to his head in the middle of the street and he doesn't want to shoot. Like he doesn't know if he wants to shoot him or not. Like that's perfect storytelling right there. But they really fumbled the bag with that one in my opinion. I like that they put it in there. I just felt like they didn't like give us enough of it. Like it felt like it just like felt weird. Like once he got to, like once the lady like send him to the beach thing, like where like poison him and stuff, like that just felt like the end. Like it was weird. Like I felt like they could have like had a little bit more detail in there, like you said, like the conversations between these people and Barry. I mean, I don't really care because at the end of the day, like they ended up like wrapping it up nicely. And so I do want to talk about the motorcycle chase. Yeah. Dude, it's, oh my god, bro. That scene is stellar. The way that, so my favorite shot in that entire scene is when he's like riding down the middle of the cars, and it's just like, bro, they just split the lane, and it's just like, there's just like like a bunch of cars just like going, and the only thing that's in focus is the guy in the middle, like on the motorcycle. Phenomenal filmmaking. What'd you think? I know this is your favorite episode of the season. What'd you think of that action scene?
That scene is just brilliant. How there's like all this tension and there's literally no score, no music, no anything. It's just like sounds.
Dude,
just like,
the sound design is spectacular, bro.
Like it just feels so good. I know someone pointed out on Twitter, like in that scene we split in the lane, all you hear is like just car radios, all that stuff. Like that's just so sick. Like that's so cool. Like that scene was just so well put together. Like, oh my god.
And there's even like small little like moments here and there in that fight that are just like so well done, and it like really just helps you split up the pacing, because it's like the one part where like the guy like drops him the gun, he's like hand off, and he drops him the gun, but he doesn't catch it and he just flips. And like it's just small stuff like that. It's like when you don't have a score, you have to become very creative with what you're writing and like how everything is coming together, and they are. It works so well in my opinion. But last thing to talk about this season is just like the final episode, in my opinion, which is my favorite episode of the bunch. Two main things I want to talk about: that the part with the FBI agent where he's like, "I've seen evil, Barry. You're not evil, bro. You didn't, bro." Bill Hader doesn't say a single word in that scene, and he still gives literally the best performance of the show, in my opinion. It's the best acted scene in the entire show, in my opinion. And then that, I don't know, dude. That was like I knew like someone was gonna catch him, because it's like, why would they had this like big massive wide angle shot of him just like dumping the body, and then the FBI agent comes into frame. I'm like, okay, I knew someone was gonna pull up, but I did not think it would be the FBI agent.
When I saw the cops, I was like, okay, how is he gonna get out of this one? I was like, actually something he's gonna get out of the situation. It's like, no, like, it's kind of situation. The whole show is like, seems like you're watching someone essentially like had like luck on their side and like eventually just runs out. You as like the viewer, you just don't know. Like you're like, he's probably gonna get out of it. It's like, not this time. Like that was insane. That whole sequence, just bring it. At first I thought bringing back like bringing Janice's dad in last minute, I thought it was kind of a weird choice, but it worked out really well in my opinion. I was like, why did bring like this guy in like kind of towards the end like of the season? It's like, but it worked really well in my opinion. So
I think it worked with Gene's character as well. Like how they had that interrogation thing in the garage. Like that was very interesting to me. I really liked all of that. But yeah. All right, Brantley. So final thoughts on season 3. Overall, I love this season. It's my favorite season of the show. One of my favorite seasons of television ever. What'd you think?
I agree. No, this season was very well. I say it's definitely by far the best written season. Like everything just ties back in together, and that's what I'm saying. It just felt also like so like planned. Like just everything in season 1, all coming back in season 3. Like, and even season 2 with his military partner that was introduced back then to the flashback coming into play. That was insane. When he came, I was like, what is him? That was
I couldn't believe it was him. I was like, oh, is this that guy? Like, is it him? And then I saw the scar. I was like, oh my God, dude. That was honestly, just we didn't really talk about this much when we talked about season 2, but just the way that they like it had to be methodically planned because they went specifically over guilt. They all did guilt stories in their like in the acting thing, like stories that were like dark and secrets within themselves. That was all part of season 2's story. Like literally, like the core of like 4 episodes was them like practicing and performing for that specific thing, as well as like Sally's story, and like that all just it all culminates in this season so well in my opinion. But that's where my problems come in with the show, because I don't know how they're gonna pull out of season 4 because everything culminated so well. It felt like you said, they wrote seasons 1 and 3. They had an outline of the arcs they wanted to complete. And where do they go from here? So now we're going to talk about our season 4, just theories in general. So quickly, before we talk about our theories, I want to let you know every storyline and how they wrapped up, okay? Fuchs and Barry are in prison, of course. Sally is going back to Joplin, but she did kill for the first time, which you did mention, and they could follow that story, which we'll talk about. Gene seems very completed with the justice for the detective and stuff like that. And Hank is back with Cristobal. So, like, where are the loose threads?
Honestly, I don't know, honestly. Like, that's the thing, like the season, like, it's just instituted. I was thinking maybe one thing I thought of, maybe, I don't know. I was thinking maybe the show turns into maybe like for a part of the season, you kind of like a courtroom drama or something like that, where it's like everyone comes back and is like, but I mean, that's really weird. I just don't know. Like the season ends on such a weird note, but I feel like honestly, with the way it ended, like I feel like if they do have something truly like planned, like we could be in store for a great season of television.
Dude. If they planned seasons 1 through 4, oh, we're here, dude. I saw people comparing it to Breaking Bad, where it's like there were completed arcs from like seasons 1 through 4 or 5, I would say, and they just kept it running. And so it's like there's always something to go. And I'm not saying this personally. I'm just saying people have said this online, but people are comparing it to the likes of Sopranos and Breaking Bad. Like this is just the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's up there. I think it's definitely. I mean, it's Breaking Bad. I think it's close. Like some aspects. Like I think season 4 will definitely put it there. Like if someone told me Barry is better than Breaking Bad, like it's on par, like I would not like be mad at that take.
That's crazy. That's one of the craziest things I've ever heard you say. I'd say season 3 is up there, like with some of the greatest seasons of television. But I don't think seasons 1 and 2 are that spectacular. We'll get into our final thoughts and score later, but I do think, like you mentioned this yesterday, but the fact that Sally killed for the first time, that's pretty interesting. They could definitely ride stories off of that. But I do think the courtroom drama aspect for like the first half of the season, I wouldn't be mad. Like you could bring everyone back from the acting class. And I mean, they pulled strings with the Chechen stuff. Like Hank could definitely prove Barry innocent. Like they could definitely pull something where it's like Hank, like now that Barry helped blow up this stuff and like help save Cristobal, like Hank will go back and help Barry, and I think that'd be a cool thing. But again, I'm honestly more worried than I am excited. I mean, okay, yes, I would say my worries are just slightly above my excitement. Time for our final thoughts and score. This is great television, in my opinion. Every season got better, and it felt like everything came together perfectly. I'm gonna give Barry overall a 8.5 out of 10. The whole show, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Season by season, I give season 1 a 7.5 out of 10. I give season 2 an 8 out of 10, and I give season 3 a 9.5 out of 10.
Overall, I give it a show 9 out of 10.
Okay.
I say season 1 probably at 8, season 2 9, and season 3 probably at 9. So probably 9.5. Probably slightly above season.
Any final thoughts you want to say about the show before we end it off?
I'm just excited, man. Like, it was a ride, man. Like I heard so much about the show for like what a year or two now. I was like, the concept seemed very just kind of dumb to me. I was like, I don't know if I'm really gonna like this, but
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was in for, but it was a very enjoyable experience. So, yeah, I'm excited for season 4.
Yeah, same. I'll be covering all things Barry on the channel from now on, as well as over on TikTok, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. All updates, anything you want to know about Barry, I'll be covering from this point on. We'll probably do a season 4 review whenever that comes out, so I'm very excited for that. As always, check out all of Brantley's socials. Links will be in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.